Hi, welcome to the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. I'm Justin Janowski, your host, and I remember trying to launch a coaching business the first couple of times and failing and falling flat. I had one client, I was out of business in 2012. 3 years later, I had 3 clients and I was out of business. 3 years after that, I did over $250,000 in revenue my first year. Now, 7 years later, we've worked with over 1,000 Christian coaches. We've done millions of dollars in sales, and I help Christian coaches figure out how to build a system around sales and marketing that has integrity and that works and that's fun and natural and honest and good. And that's what this podcast is all about. You're in the right place if you're a Christian coach or entrepreneur looking to build. Today, I have a special guest, my friend Bethany Boring, Bethany B. Joy. She's one of my favorite clients and favorite people of all time. We've been working together for 3 years. Bethany helps Christian counselors, mental health practitioners, and pastoral care leaders find community and get the support that they need. In other words, she takes the people who are always pouring out for everyone else and she pours into them. She's also been an incredible leader in our community, a great friend. She's somebody who's won speaking competitions and built a successful business. And she's an amazing mom of 3 boys. And she's done it all while overcoming tremendous adversity. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is overcoming adversity as you fulfill your dreams as an entrepreneur. Bethany, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so excited to be with you right now.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to be with you, Justin. Thank you so much for having me on here.
My pleasure. We were talking, we met 3 years ago. You've been a client and a friend for 3 years. You've been to the last 3 Faith to Influence conferences, 3 of the 4 we've ever held. And I was like, man, how did we meet? And you remind me how we met, which is crazy because there's this thing I do when I'm giving my Sales is Love keynote where I talk about how one of the challenges I had as a new coach was feeling overwhelmed. And it's a slide where I've got overwhelmed in white in the middle of it. And then I've got yellow dropping one at a time at the click, all the different things the marketplace was telling me I had to do to build a successful coaching business, and how overwhelming it was to think about doing all these things. I'm like, man, if I listen to the people in the marketplace, they're like, you need to have a podcast. You need to be on Facebook. You need to be on Instagram. You need to be on LinkedIn. You need to have a blog. You need to write a book. You need to be running a telesummit. You need conferences and retreats. You need a membership program. You need a high ticket offer. You need to be the sales team and the marketing team and the finance team. And you need to be sending out a weekly sales newsletter. And you need to, and I go on and on and on and on and on. I drop these things down onto the page. And I'm like, you need a funnel. And I'm like, a funnel? Like, what do you mean? Like a funnel cake? Like the Wisconsin State Fair? What are you even talking about? And they're like, you need to be running ads and you need to have, all this stuff. And I'm like, with what money? And I'm like, it's just like, I can feel other people's stress and my own stress as all the things drop in that people tell you have to do to run a successful coaching business. And the idea is, of course, that no, we don't have to do all that. We can simplify it. But one of the things that drops down that I think is funny, and I'm like, when I was starting, they're like, you need to be on Clubhouse. And I'm like, I don't even know if people know what Clubhouse is anymore, because it had kind of a short shelf life, at least with, maybe it's still running, but at least from the standpoint of being popular, it all of a sudden burst onto the scene and everybody was talking about Clubhouse. And it was this place where you could go on and create like community conversations and just have group conversations around different topics. And I remember McCall Simons on our team and I were like, okay, let's get into Clubhouse. Like, let's figure this out. And it was just one of the many things that we probably shouldn't have done that were a distraction, except it turns out that our effort that I kind of joke about on Clubhouse, that felt like it was misguided and a waste of time amongst all the other things, was not at all misguided or a waste of time, because you met McCall on Clubhouse and he's like, you got to meet Justin. Let's get together. And oh my gosh, here we are 3 years later. And thank God we were on Clubhouse.
Right? Yeah.
Tell me about Clubhouse. What was your experience there?
I was trying to think about that the other day. I don't remember. It's just like, I remember I was like in this process where I was trying to figure out how to go deeper with my coaching. I knew that. In Clubhouse, the really cool thing about it is that you could have deeper conversations, and you honestly didn't know these people. But there was a guy named McCall. We did connect, and he was talking about authenticity and coaching and all this stuff. We were vibing, but then he mentioned you, and I was like, who's this guy? And I remember hearing, I think you maybe came on there. once or twice. I remember hearing
Yeah.
you, but I was so skeptical. Like back then I've been duped so many times, and I was just like, so McCall, if he had not kept messaging me and continuing to believe in me, there's no way we would have connected. So I
Mm.
got to give a shout out to him. He did not give up. So I appreciate that now.
Amazing. McCall Simons is an absolute legend. We'll have to make sure he listens to this podcast episode.
Yes.
Thank you, McCall, for follow up. And this is for everybody who's listening to this, the reminder to follow up. You meet somebody in an unusual place. We're networking. We're hanging out on Clubhouse. We spent too many hours there. Apparently, we made one sale, but it was because of consistent follow up and like an effort to get you to a conversation where we could talk about what's next. And we've been working together for a long time now. You've been in our sales school, and you've been in CCA, and you've been to the last 3 conferences, and we've done some cool things together. I'm so grateful that we gave that little Clubhouse effort. You know, we were out there trying to make it happen, trying to figure things out. Bethany, you have been through a lot in your life. And, you know, you and I have had some conversations in the past where you're like, the state of Florida doesn't know what to do with you because you don't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yep.
You don't fit into like a common box. Can you just share some of your life story
Yeah.
and, you know, what makes you you and how you got to here?
Yeah, no, I'd love to do that. So I don't know if you remember, Justin, but it was at one time that we actually connected. The first time that we actually connected one on one, I was like, here's the deal, dude. And I just like spread it all out. And I expected you to go, okay, that's nice. And we're done. Because that's usually what I got to. So I was born with Charge syndrome. I've had vision and hearing loss pretty much my entire life. However, the last couple of years, they told me that because of my personality, where I like to use everything until I can possibly get everything out of it, my hearing and vision is slowly deteriorating to the point where I went from being able to see really well on a computer to now I have my guide dog somewhere near me that I use to get out with. And because of that, I was hesitant about really launching out my business. Didn't really feel confident one on one, let alone groups. I really wanted to do groups. And I went and I started checking out all these different programs, and everybody's programs were great, but you had to follow it. Same thing with the state of Florida, you know, disability versus business versus where do I fit? And I really didn't fit that box. And so I was really praying. I'm like, okay, God, if I'm supposed to do this, because I'm also a single mom with 3 boys, if I'm supposed to do this, I need somebody who gets me and also gets business and also who loves you. And honestly, I wasn't finding it. And when I met Justin, and he actually, I think I pushed back a little bit because I've been duped so many times. But the one thing I really appreciate about Justin and the Faith to Influence team is they always show up authentically. And if they can't help, they'll tell you. And the great thing is that Justin, you believed in me from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really appreciated that to somebody that actually didn't try to follow this exact formula and you'll get XYZ. It was mainly like, okay, what's God doing in your life? Where's God have you? Let's think realistically for you and let's have you take the next step. And that's what I really needed. And I really appreciated that. And yeah, and so here we are today.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. You went over that pretty quick. Let's say somebody doesn't know
Yeah.
what charge syndrome is.
Yes.
I'd love for you to explain that a little bit more. And I do want to, in case anyone does know personally about charge syndrome and or knows someone who's dealing with the challenges that come with charge syndrome, I'd love for you to share about your book, your children's book that we have in our house that our kids have read with us. Tell us
I
about
love
charge
it.
syndrome.
That's so good. Yes. So charge syndrome, and I love the word syndrome, is because it really is such a wide variety of different challenges and different backgrounds. You can go to a charge syndrome conference regardless if you have the syndrome or not and feel like you fit in. You really can, which I love. They each letter of charge stands for a different condition that we all have. Now, the variant of that can be huge. So, vision loss is part of it. Hearing loss is part of it. Some mental challenges are part of it. And so, everybody has that in a different degree. You're born with it. A lot of kids now are diagnosed upon birth. I wasn't, which was kind of interesting. And so I really didn't fall into this understanding until much, much, much later on in life when I really started losing a lot of my vision and hearing. That's when I got curious about it. And I went a lot of my life really not necessarily wanting to connect with the disability community because I almost felt like it was a trap. Like I didn't want to be identified as that. And one thing that God has taught me, he's like, just because you connect with different audiences does not mean that identifies you. You get to choose how you want to be identified and walk out, and you're my daughter and you're a child of the king, and you get to walk that out. And that's one thing that I really fell in love with, and that's why I came and actually put together the Joy Catcher children's book, which you said you have. And I love that. It was so cool, like getting that picture on my phone that day of you and your kids and your family holding the book. And I was like, I just loved it. So brought such a joy to my face. And yeah, it's just a part of my life about me and my grandpa, which I dearly loved, and him having a belief in me that really took me outside that box and just really gave me permission to do anything that I really wanted to do. And really, joy is connecting with people in a deep way and knowing that you are accepted no matter what. And that's another thing I did. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so if you're interested in the children's book about believing in yourself and overcoming challenges and not letting other people tell you what you can or can't do, go to Amazon and buy The Joy Catcher by Bethany B. Boring. Bethany Joy Boring.
I think it's probably under Bethany Boring. There's been a lot going on
Bethany
there.
Boring. Great. The Joy Catcher on Amazon. It's amazing. Okay, so how many clients have you worked with now? You've run group programs. You had a lot of people go through your group programs. If you had to guess, how many clients have you worked with? How many sales have you made in your business? This is a big number on the spot.
It probably is. I can't even. I feel so bad to even try to say something. I'd probably say, combined with everything that I've done, it's at least over 100.
Over 100 clients, over 100 sales. So let me just, let's catch everybody up because that was all kind of fast. Vision challenges, hearing challenges, guide dog, single mom of 3 boys who are like 12 to 18. So pretty crazy season of life for them. And you're an entrepreneur and you're involved in your church. You're involved in, you're traveling to these conferences, you're speaking, and you've made 100 sales in the last few years. Yes. Worked with 100 clients. Incredible. How do you do it all? How do you handle all these different things?
I don't. And I have someone like Justin that reminds me of what I need to stay focused on. That's one thing. And I'll be honest with you, and I don't know, there's got to be other people out there that get that have shiny object syndrome like I have. And it's like, ooh, and I'm just keeping it real. I struggle with ADD. I do. And it's just like, there's so many things, even right now, I'm thinking about so many things that I want to do. One thing I realized is that we can give ourselves permission to give value on who we are and not by what we do. And I know it's been hard to say that. And I even feel part of me is like, oh, when I say that, but it really is that God has given us so much value in how we show up for our people. It's not about the, meeting every single need. God has provided us an opportunity to meet that one need. And so that's been really important, really in my time with you, Justin, it has been able to okay, what are those things, and this is your words, that feel light and fun for me? And can I really make money doing that? Yes, I can. I just remember the first day that I did my group and I actually launched it. And I think I got on our little Facebook group. I'm like, it's possible. Just amazing. And that really is possible to be able to find that thing that makes you feel fully alive and enjoy doing it. Now, there's always going to be parts of it that we don't do well at. And when I get to that point, I will find somebody to do those things that I don't enjoy as much. But it's been a growing process and a rewarding process to do what I really enjoy and to get financial gain from it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's the question that we ask when we're designing our offers, when we're designing the way we run our business is this light and fun for me or is this heavy? And if it's really heavy, let's not do it because you've got so many other things. You've got the boys and you've got, you've got the challenges that you're dealing with. You've got your communities and you've got so many different communities, right? So you've got a busy and full life. So if you're designing a really heavy business, it wouldn't even work. You wouldn't be able to do it. So it has to be light and fun and it has to work for you rather than being heavy. That's a good lesson for all of us. It's one of the ways to make it all work. Okay. So I want to ask one more question here about adversity. Then I want to get to a couple of business topics. you have handled a lot of adversity. And I know, like, we don't talk about it all the time because you're just one of the guys, in the community. And so we don't put a light on it all the time, because you're just and all of us have different adversities and all the things that make us us. But if we slow down and look at it, we know that you have encountered a lot of adversity and a lot of challenge, and you've had hard days and hard weeks, and you and I have talked about those, and you've had good days and good weeks. For the person who's going through adversity right now, and there's all different kinds, right? So maybe it's a physical adversity, maybe it's the adversity of like grief. They've lost someone that they care about. Maybe they're just struggling to figure out the business side of things, and they're like feeling the adversity and the challenge of the struggle. Maybe it's a financial challenge or struggle. All different kinds of things that people are coming to this podcast dealing with. Yeah. For the person who's listening, who wants to be a successful coach, wants to build a business, wants to make a difference, that feels just so stuck in adversity and challenge, what would you tell them about overcoming that?
Yeah. There's this quote, and I'm not going to say who it's by because I don't know who it's by, and if you Google it, who knows? But we steer where we stare. So I've learned, and no pun intended, when my vision loss, it kind of gets, but really, what are you looking at? Because that is where you will go. I remember when I did learn how to drive, my parents telling me, keep your eyes on where you want to go, because with the ADD, you just go everywhere, right? And so this reality of like, okay, I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go because I just felt stuck. That's all I could see was the stuckness. But then God kept on telling me, Bethany, keep your eyes on me. I'm like, well, I don't know where the heck you are. He's like, yeah, look for me. I'm like, oh yeah. It's so easy. Yeah. Just like, look for me. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's all these walls are closing in. He's like, okay, where am I in the middle of it? And so freedom isn't the absence of trials, isn't the absence of things not going right. Freedom is the presence of God in the middle of that. And when you find that, that is real freedom. And that's what we get to offer people. That's what we get to offer people. And so it's just amazing to be able to find that. And that's what I get to lead my people through is interactive appreciation. And the reason I believe in it so much is because I do it and it's my life. And that's the way I keep going, is finding God in the middle of everything. It doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect, but it doesn't mean that we're not alone and we never have to walk alone.
Wow. I love that. Okay. 2 things I'm taking away from this. Number 1, we steer where we stare. Yeah, this is super important. This is something that my first 2 coaches drilled down to me in different ways. We steer where we stare, which is that, like, what we focus on magnifies. And so if you focus on the problem, the adversity, the pain, the reasons why you can't, the reasons why you feel like you're not good enough, those things are going to feel magnified. They're going to feel bigger. And if we focus on the solution, if we focus on God, if we focus on the goodness, if we focus on what we're grateful for, those things are going to magnify too, and it can lead us forward. And then freedom being the presence of God in spite of our circumstances. Is that about right?
Yes. Well, and if you don't mind, I'd like to add one more thing in there. Yeah, when we're really focusing on where we're going, when we're staring in the right place, we'll know the people that we need to surround ourselves by. And I think that was a huge difference in finding you and Faith to Influence, is that I wasn't surrounding my people by I wasn't surrounding myself by the people that really believed in me, that really said, no, you're in a tough spot, but this is what you can do. Just take the next best step. We got you. We support you. We're a place for you. And so that's huge too, is that when you really find your value, when you really find those who care about you, stay with those people and surround yourselves by them, because they will show you freedom in the middle of the storm as well.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Finding your people who will show you freedom in the middle of the storm. Finding your people, finding the presence of God, and staring at the thing that you want, focusing on the good rather than the hard. That's so good. Thank you for that. What's coming to me for some reason, you talk about finding your people, I'm remembering another story, which is somewhere in our early days of working together. I don't know if we'd been working together 3 months, 6 months, 10 months, but we'd been working together for a while, and we were at our conference, and we had a conversation about like the next step or the next program or whatever it was. And you sat me down and you were like, you know what, this is it for me. This has been great. I love you guys. peace, I'm out.
Yeah, quite like that, but yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly like that, but it felt kind of like that. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I trust you to know what you need. And we've loved working with you. And, doors always open if you ever want to come back. And we had this whole goodbye.
Yep.
And then that was maybe on day 2 of the conference or something. And on day 3, the next day, you came up to me and you did a 180 on that. And you're like, you know what? I don't know what I was saying yesterday. Of course I want to keep working together. This is my family. This is where I want to be. What happened? What happened there?
I think I think I got scared because I've been in so many different communities, connections, groups. That's why I do what I love to do, because I love groups. I think I found a place where I belong, and I didn't want to disappoint people, which I realized I couldn't do that now. But also B, I just got fearful of being duped again, because I had been I've been just duped so many times, and I've had so many people take advantage of financial gain or whatever, and I didn't want to get myself in that situation. So not that it felt like that, but I felt that tug of war, am I really going to go all in? Because I'm either one of those people where I go all in or I'm out. There's no real in between. You either get me or you don't, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was at that point, and I decided, you know what, they've got something that I want, and I know I would be here where I am at that point without you, and I had no idea where this was going to continue. It blows my mind to where I am today. Yeah. So that's what I really had to step back and go, okay, God, do I trust you enough to protect me even in the middle of this group that I'm not completely sure about, that I think I trust, that I don't, but do I trust you even in the middle of this? And yeah. I did. And I had to take his hand and trust. And I still have that when I get on, Zooms with our people doing coffee chats. I'm like, I don't know you, but but it's so good. It's so good to really trust him in that. And are people going to disappoint us? Yeah. But the one thing about, especially Faith of Influence, that I've learned is we have those places that we can talk about that. And we got our differences, but it's not competitive. It's more of how can we really support one another, because we're all trying to get closer to God. We're all trying to build our business. So how can we really do that in a faithful way?
Wow. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know we were going to go in this direction with the conversation, but now that we have, I have to take the opportunity to say that I know that other listeners are also afraid of being duped. I know that we've had so many of us have had bad experiences with programs, with coaches, with communities, and we've been like, oh man, that was the wrong investment, or that was the wrong time, or the wrong idea, or they didn't help me, or they didn't do what they said they were going to do. And now I have to shameless plug. I have to ask, 3 years into this whole thing, as a girl who's afraid to be duped, yep. Becoming one of our longest standing clients now, what would you tell somebody who was thinking about being part of our Christian Coaches Academy or sales school, or joining one of the programs at Faith to Influence? What would you tell them about this experience if they're also it seems nice, but I don't want to make a mistake?
Yeah. Well, first of all, and I don't know how many people are going to really like this, but as a mental health person, I'm always going, okay, what's underneath all that? Not necessarily about the program or whatever you're looking at. What's really underneath that? Because here's the thing, you could walk into any program, but if you haven't really resolved what's going on underneath the surface, you're going to find this repetitious cycle. And that's what was going on with me, because your program was great, your group was great. It's just I had this lie inside of me that I had not really sat with. And I have a great friend and also coach friend, Laura Neiser, and some other people in the Faith to Influence community that helped me out reframe that and really get truth and honestly. So one thing I would say is that we can go against that lie that we tell ourselves, that I'm not going to find this place that really gets me. That was mine. Or I'm going to find a place and they're going to leave me because I don't fit their whatever program, whatever. That was the biggest lie that I was holding on to. And I had to get to the point where I had to have some one-on-one conversations with you, Justin. And that's what I appreciate about your team too, is, if I want to connect with Myrna, if I want to connect with JJO, if I want to connect with one of those people, I can just do that. You're not hiding. You're not saying, well, for $150, it's just when you're in that group, you get this real connection. And that's what I felt. And I wanted to see if I put myself out there, was I going to be met in that space? And time and time and time again, I was met. And that works out in any kind of relationship, in any kind of group you're a part of. You want to put a little bit of yourself out there and see how they respond. And then a little bit more. You don't go all in. But I've gotten to the point now where I've put myself out there so many times and been met with just being held, being cared for, being redirected, being seen, I can now put myself out there. But not only that, I can put myself out there for other people in our group too. And I can see God move in amazing ways. So that's what I would say. Just put yourself out there one thing at a time and really focus on what the lies are that are stirring underneath, because I don't want to see people continually going down that cycle. You're much more to me, and I want to see you walk that out.
Amen. Amen. I love that. Thanks for sharing. Okay. I want to get into a little bit of business talk here. You've won some speaking competitions. You've spoken on some cool stages. You're available for speaking. So if people have a stage, they've got a podcast, they're doing something virtually, reach out to Bethany about speaking opportunities. She'd be a great person to connect with. If they go to your website, by the way, can they book a call with you?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
BethanyBjoy.com.
BethanyBjoy.com. So if you're looking for a great speaker, Bethany is amazing. Like, just wait till you see her on stage. She crushes it. BethanyBjoy.com. Book a call with her. Talk to her about your next speaking engagement. What are the topics you speak on, Bethany?
Well, adversity is definitely one. Also, how to really go deep with other people to have those supportive communities that you need. And then also how to listen to God. And I also talk about how to keep people in your business to really work out that longevity and balance. So a lot of it's about deep connection, deep community, and how to get the support that you need to really walk out the way you need to.
Awesome. Okay, so to connect with Bethany about anything, take the next step with her, go to BethanyBjoy.com, and also a great place to find her if you want to consider her as a speaker for your next event. Bethany, I mean, I was a judge. I was a judge in like a speaking competition with like 40 coaches, speakers, amazing people, and you came out on top, and I was not surprised, but you crushed it. For somebody who's listening who wants to speak more, can you give 3 quick keys to being a great public speaker?
I love it. First of all, be yourself. You can listen to people all day long, and there's so many amazing people that speak, and you can take advice from them. You can listen to them, but when people need to hear you, they need to hear you. They don't need to hear Les Brown. They don't need to hear, I don't know, I'm thinking of Jeff Foxworthy right now. But anyway, they don't need to hear those people. They need to hear you. Yeah. Second of all, and this is going to sound weird, but I can say it. Eye contact isn't exactly everything. And I can say this now, everybody's going to be like, what? And I can see people cringing, right? But here's the thing, and this stopped me for the longest time because I had vision loss. And I was like, well, I can't speak because I can't make eye contact with people. You would be so surprised how authenticity can show, even though you may not make direct eye contact with people. And there are ways of doing that. And so I think a lot of times we go in person or we go on Zoom and we're so focused on trying to meet the eyes of everybody. And the truth is, you don't necessarily have to do that. It is important if you can, but do not let that be a holding place to you, be able to show up as yourself. And number 3, and this kind of goes back to our current before conversation, is find people who see you. And that can surround you. So when you're practicing, you can practice with people that see you. When you're shooting that trial video, you can do that with people that see you. When you have that transcript that you're like, man, this is not what it sounds like me, help me. You have those people in your corner. You're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to be uncomfortable, but it's a lot more comfortable when you find people that believe in you, that know who God has called you to be, than trying to make yourself into somebody that you're not. And so it's not necessarily about finding the right group necessarily about that's going to get you to where you want to go. You want that, but you need to find people that can see you. And if you can find both of those together, you've made a good point.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so number 1, be yourself. Number 2, be authentic. And the recognition that that's going to look different for different people, whether it's eye contact or the way you tell your stories or whatever else. Find your authenticity. You know, I oftentimes have called it your authentic leadership voice, you know, your way of being on the stage. So be yourself, be authentic, and find people who see you.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you for that. And you have made 100 sales. And I know that you're very humble. And so sometimes you, when I brag on you a little bit, your humility can show up. Sometimes in helpful ways, sometimes in less than helpful ways. Today, I'm going to call you to your confidence And I want you to just recognize how great you've been as a salesperson and a coach. And we've got so many listeners who like the idea of working with 100 clients would be their just dream come true.
Mm.
From a sales perspective, can you share, and I'm putting you on the spot, you didn't have time to prepare these, I'm not sending you questions in advance, but
Nope.
could you share 3 simple keys to improving in sales?
Mm. Yeah. First is that I've learned, Justin, you have such a great 10-step process, right? And I think so many times for me, I'm like, well, if I follow this, I'll get it's not necessarily about memorize. I mean, it is pre-frame. You want to memorize that. I'm going to tell you people, you want to memorize a pre-frame. But other than that, it got to noticed with me, it was really about making that connection with someone and knowing, like, I can't explain it, and Justin, you could probably put it into better words, but when you're talking with that person that that is the perfect fit, and that you're connecting, and it's like, oh my goodness, God has brought us two together. How can I make this so that it's a win-win for both of us? I'm valuable, but so is this other person. And so it goes away from follow this 10-step process to let's really build a relationship here. And let's give them a gift that's going to continue giving long after this conversation ends. So how can I do that? How can I develop that? So step away from the formula. Number 2, and I know I've probably mentioned this in everything, but I'm just going to mention it again. Find your people. You cannot do sales alone. You can't do coaching alone. You can't do really anything alone. And yes, God is with you, but even if you work from home, it doesn't mean you have to work by yourself. Like, you shouldn't be working by yourself. So where are those people that are going to help you, push you on? Where are those people that are going to encourage you? Where are those people you can practice with? Because that really is a lot about what matters. And number 3, find, and it's going to go back to steering where you're steering, but where are you going? Where do you want to go? Because here's the thing, and I've had to learn this. Justin, you'll probably laugh, but it's amazing when you put your calendar link out there, how many people want to book? It's just like, okay, so I had to really get particular about, okay, this is my one calendar for coffee chats. And I had to book a lot of time off of there because I needed to have these sales calls. And I need to be very specific for who those people are that I got on my sales calls with, because my time is valuable. And so knowing exactly where I want to go, knowing the people that I want to work with, and being able to say no confidently. I'm still working on that. Because I love to be with people, but really being able to say, these are the people that I really want to be with and work with. And then, not that you're saying no to everybody else, but you may be able to, through community, send them to other people, which you do know that they would be a right fit for.
I love it. I love it. So what I'm hearing in number 1 for sales tips is build a relationship. Number 2, find your people. And number 3, what I'm really hearing is like clarity of mission.
Yeah.
But it's where are you going? You're talking about like, who's your most ideal client? Who should you be having these conversations with? What are you building? That clarity of where you're going, the most ideal client, the mission statement, your time, how you're using it, all of that's so important. Build a relationship, find your people, and clarity of mission and vision.
And if I can add just one more thing, is give yourself, and you've done this for me, Justin, giving myself permission to experiment.
Yeah.
And just like, get to know yourself. Because I think so many times, at least me, I felt so pressured at getting it right and going. And I've felt that pressure so many times. And you've had a way of telling me, Bethany, just rest. Just take some time off.
Yeah.
Just find yourself, be yourself. Because if we're really going to find that thing that's light and easy and fun for us, we have to know ourselves. We have to take time to really do that. So give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to experiment. But that's why it's so important to be in that group of people who really see you, because they can go, yeah, that's not you. And they can help you go back to that right direction.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing this. Reminder to go to bethanybjoy.com if you want to connect with Bethany further, or go find The Joy Catcher on Amazon. Buy that amazing children's book about overcoming adversity. And of course, it's for all kids. It's not just for kids with Charge syndrome. I know I highlighted that before because somebody who has Charge syndrome should absolutely have that book. It's a perfect Christmas gift. But for any kid to learn to overcome adversity and accept people being different and believe in themselves, it's such a great story. So The Joy Catcher or BethanyBJoy.com. If you're hearing everything that Bethany's sharing about finding your people and community, and you're thinking, man, Justin, some of the people he has on this show and Faith to Influence, maybe they are my people. and you want to learn more about us and discover whether or not we are your people, learn more about sales and how to grow your business, but also be introduced to our community, go to landcoachingclients.com. You can come to our weekly webinar. You can get some training, spend some time with me live on Zoom, be introduced to some people, and talk about next steps in our community, landcoachingclients.com. Bethany, thank you so much for being on the show. I love you so much. You're amazing. Any final words as we end the call today?
I love it. I just love this conversation. And I hope, if anything, people are walking away with knowing that you're not alone. You've got at least 2 people here that believe in you. And so walk out in that identity today that you've got this, God's got you, and take the next best step.
Amen. Let's go. See everybody else soon. God bless you.